In this video, I'm about to show you 10 Kirkland Signature products you should never buy and 5 you should actually be using, starting with the ones that look like a deal on the outside, but are quietly working against you every single time you bring them home. Number 10. Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water. Let me tell you something about this sparkling water, because I know a lot of people swear by it. Costco sells it by the case, the cans look clean and simple, and people genuinely believe they're making a smart, healthy swap from soda. And I get it, when you're trying to cut back on sugar and you see a product this cheap in this kind of quantity, it feels like a win. But here's what they don't put on that label. Independent taste tests and consumer panels, including an evaluation published by Consumer Reports in 2022, consistently ranked Kirkland's sparkling water near the absolute bottom for two things: flavor and carbonation retention. We're not talking about a slight difference. We're talking about a product that loses its fizz within minutes of being opened. You crack the can, take a few sips, and by the time you set it down and come back, you're drinking what tastes like faintly mineral tap water with a memory of bubbles. That mineral taste people always notice? That's not some natural spring character they're marketing. It comes from how the source water is processed and the way carbonation is pumped in during high-speed industrial packaging, fast, cheap, and not built to last once that seal breaks. Now compare the price gap between Kirkland sparkling water and something that actually holds its carbonation through a full can. The difference is barely anything, so what exactly are you saving? Because it certainly isn't quality. People reach for sparkling water because they want something refreshing that keeps them away from the sugary stuff. When that product falls completely flat in the first 3 minutes, you've already lost the entire reason you bought it. And the companies behind these products know exactly what they're doing. Once you've bought the 35-pack, you're not loading it back into your car and driving back to return it. They count on that. That's the whole strategy. Number 9. Kirkland Signature Protein Bars. These bars get tossed into the cart constantly because the number on the front looks impressive. 21 grams of protein, good price per bar, enormous box, it checks every box on the surface. But flip that package over because what's on the back of the label is a very different story. Kirkland's protein bars use a combination of soy protein isolate and calcium caseinate as their primary protein sources. Soy protein isolate sounds clean and scientific, but the manufacturing process involves hexane, a chemical solvent used to extract protein from soybeans. A report published in 2010 by the Cornucopia Institute specifically flagged hexane residues in multiple soy-based protein products, and that concern has never gone away quietly. Then there's the sugar-alcohol situation. These bars are sweetened heavily with maltitol, which sounds harmless until you understand what it actually does in the body. A 2017 review in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics identified maltitol as significantly more likely to cause gas, bloating, and serious gastrointestinal discomfort compared to other sweeteners at equivalent doses, and that effect is notably worse in adults over 50, so you've got a bar built on a chemically processed protein source, sweetened with something that punishes your digestive system, and still packing in the sugar equivalent of a candy bar once you account for the maltitol impact on blood glucose. This is a candy bar wearing athletic gear, sold in warehouse quantities to people who trust the label. Number 8. Kirkland Signature Canned Chicken. Canned chicken is one of those products where the price difference between a decent brand and a bad one is so small that there's genuinely no reason to accept lower quality. And Kirkland's canned chicken is the textbook case of cost-cutting that shows up in every single bite. The texture issues are documented everywhere. Forums, review threads, retail complaint sections, people describing it as mushy, stringy, almost paste-like, with a consistency that doesn't resemble actual cooked chicken. That texture problem isn't a random batch issue, it's structural. It comes from the retort processing method used in high-volume industrial canning, where chicken is cooked at extremely high temperatures inside sealed cans to achieve shelf stability. When that process runs at industrial scale without tight control over cooking time, the muscle fibers break down far past the point of palatability. You're left with wet, rubbery protein that pulls apart like wet paper. On top of that, Kirkland's canned chicken contains sodium phosphate, an additive used to hold moisture. and a 2019 study in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology directly linked elevated dietary phosphate intake to accelerated kidney function decline in adults over 60. That's a serious concern for the exact demographic that relies on canned chicken as a regular, affordable protein source. Then factor in the sodium, around 460 milligrams per serving. Most people eat the whole can in one sitting. That's nearly a full gram of sodium from a single product marketed as a lean, healthy option. Number 7. Kirkland Signature Bacon. Bacon is personal for a lot of people, and it should be. If you've been eating bacon your whole life, you know what it's supposed to taste like. It should snap. It should have that deep, rich, smoky fat that fills the whole kitchen before it even gets close to done. Kirkland's bacon doesn't deliver that consistently, and the inconsistency is one of the biggest frustrations. The thickness of cuts varies noticeably from package to package. One pack crisps up the way you want, the next is thin, floppy, and practically dissolves in the pan before you get any real texture out of it. But the part that deserves real attention goes beyond texture. Kirkland's bacon, like virtually all commercial processed bacon, contains sodium nitrite at around 120 parts per million, the standard industry rate. In 2015, the World Health Organization formally classified processed meats containing nitrites as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning established scientific evidence connects them to colorectal cancer. A Harvard School of Public Health analysis found that consuming a 50-gram daily serving of processed meat roughly 2 strips of bacon raised colorectal cancer risk by 18% over time. Nobody here is saying never eat bacon again, but when you're already accepting a known risk, the least the product should do is actually be worth it. When Kirkland can't even deliver a consistent cut or reliably great flavor, the math on that trade-off gets a lot harder to justify. Number 6. Kirkland Signature Mixed Nuts. The mixed nut canister at Costco feels premium before you even open it. Big, heavy container, looks well stocked, and buying nuts in bulk from a warehouse brand sounds like savvy shopping. Then you dig in, and the experience tells a different story. The ratio is the first thing. Kirkland's mix is heavily weighted toward cashews and almonds, which sounds fine until you realize the peanut content, the cheapest filler nut in any mix, is higher than the packaging presentation suggests. But the bigger issue is processing. Kirkland's mixed nuts are roasted in sunflower oil and in some formulations, safflower oil, both of which are extremely high in omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids. A 2018 analysis in the journal Open Heart found that excessive omega-6 intake relative to omega-3, which is the ratio virtually all Americans are already running in the wrong direction, actively promotes systemic inflammation tied to cardiovascular disease, joint deterioration, and metabolic dysfunction. Dry roasted nuts preserve their natural fat profile. Oil roasted nuts absorb cooking oil on top of their existing fat content, compounding the omega-6 problem. And then the sodium. The salted variety carries 380 milligrams per 1 ounce serving. Nobody in the history of buying a giant Costco canister has eaten 1 ounce. You're grabbing 3, 4, 5 ounces across an afternoon, and the sodium climbs well past 1,000 milligrams from what was supposed to be a healthy snack. Number 5. Kirkland's Signature Mozzarella Cheese Sticks. The cheese sticks might be the biggest surprise on this list, because this seems so harmless. It's just mozzarella. Kirkland's version gets marketed as a high-protein convenient snack, and parents buy them by the bag without a second thought. But the ingredient panel has a few things worth knowing. These sticks contain natamycin, a mold inhibitor used to extend shelf life well beyond what natural cheese achieves. The European Union restricts natamycin to surface-level application only, specifically because of concerns about its effects on gut flora. A 2021 review in Frontiers in Microbiology found that regular natamycin exposure, even within approved ranges, can suppress beneficial fungal organisms in the gut microbiome, organisms that play a direct role in digestion, nutrient absorption, and immune response. Beyond the preservative, the cheese is made from pasteurized skim milk rather than whole milk. That distinction matters because vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat-soluble. Strip the fat from the milk, and you strip the nutritional contribution those vitamins would have made. What you're left with is a rubbery, low-fat cheese product treated with a gut-suppressing preservative, packaged in a warehouse-sized bag, because the margin on volume is where Costco and its suppliers make their money. Your gut health is not their primary concern. Number 4. Kirkland Signature Frozen Yogurt Bars. The health halo on frozen yogurt is one of the most effective pieces of food marketing in the last 30 years. People see the word yogurt and immediately file it under responsible choices. Lower calorie than ice cream, sounds wholesome, feels like the sensible dessert decision. Kirkland's version leans hard into that image. But let's look at what's actually inside. 17 grams of sugar per bar, with sugar listed first, followed closely by corn syrup. That's the foundation. Then there's the probiotic question, because this is where the frozen yogurt health story completely falls apart. The live and active cultures that make real yogurt beneficial for gut health, Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium strains, do not survive the freezing process in any meaningful concentration. A 2020 study in the journal Nutrients confirmed that both of these strains show significant viability loss below -4 degrees Celsius. Frozen yogurt is not a probiotic food in any practical sense. And then there's carrageenan, used as a stabilizer and thickener in Kirkland's bars. The National Organic Standards Board voted in 2016 to remove carrageenan from its approved list, citing research linking it to intestinal inflammation and potential tumor promotion in animal studies. 17 grams of sugar, 0 functional probiotics, and an inflammation-linked stabilizer in something millions of people genuinely believe is a healthy dessert. That gap between perception and reality is not an accident. Number 3, Kirkland Signature Chocolate Chips. Baking chocolate chips seem like one of the most basic, low-risk grocery items you could buy. Kirkland sells them in enormous bags. They look like every other chip you've used, and the price per ounce is hard to beat. But when you bake with them, something is noticeably off. The chocolate doesn't melt smoothly, seizes differently in heat, and the flavor is flatter and more bitter than semi-sweet chocolate should be. The reason comes down to how the cocoa is processed. Kirkland's chocolate chips use alkalized cocoa, Dutch processing, which treats cocoa with an alkalizing agent to neutralize acidity. The problem is that Dutch processing destroys the naturally occurring flavanols in cocoa by up to 90%, according to a 2008 study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry. Those flavanols, epicatechin and catechin, are the bioactive compounds associated with improved blood flow, reduced LDL oxidation, and anti-inflammatory activity. When you Dutch process the cocoa, you remove the compounds that make dark chocolate worth eating from a health standpoint. On top of that, Kirkland uses PGPR, polyglycerol polyricinoleate, as an emulsifier in place of additional cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is expensive. PGPR costs a fraction of that and has been used by large chocolate manufacturers since the early 2000s as a cost-cutting substitute. The difference shows up directly in mouthfeel, melt quality, and the final texture of anything you bake. You can literally taste where they cut corners. Number 2. Kirkland Signature French Vodka. There's a rumor that has floated around Costco shoppers for years that Kirkland's French vodka is secretly made by Grey Goose. That rumor has done enormous work for this product's reputation. Bacardi, Grey Goose's parent company, has publicly and explicitly denied any connection between the two products on multiple occasions. Kirkland's French vodka is produced at the Distillerie de la Tour using wheat-based spirit, but that's where the comparison to premium French vodka largely ends. Vodka quality is fundamentally determined by distillation, run count, and filtration thoroughness. Lower-end production prioritizes speed and volume, which means fewer filtration cycles and higher concentrations of congeners remaining in the finished product. Congeners are the organic compounds produced during fermentation beyond ethanol itself, and they are the primary driver of hangover severity and next-day symptoms. A 2010 study published in BMJ Open directly established that less filtered spirits with higher congener concentrations produced significantly worse hangover outcomes. The Beverage Testing Institute, which conducts blind comparative spirit evaluations, has scored Kirkland's French vodka lower than mid-range competitors, including Tito's handmade vodka and Kettle One, on both smoothness and finish quality, despite Costco's premium price positioning for this product. You're paying for a warehouse label wearing a French accent, and the taste panels know the difference even when the marketing doesn't want you to. Number 1. Kirkland Signature Rotisserie Chicken. And here we are. Number 1. The Kirkland Rotisserie Chicken. Before anyone comes at me, yes, I know this is sacred ground for a lot of Costco shoppers. People plan shopping trips around picking one of these up on the way out. Costco sells approximately 100 million of these birds every single year and has famously held the price at $4.99 since 2009, absorbing a loss on every chicken as a deliberate strategy to drive foot traffic. And that loss leader model is exactly where the problems begin, because to sell a full rotisserie chicken for under $5 without completely losing your shirt, you have to cut costs somewhere in the chain. In 2019, a Bloomberg investigation examined the conditions inside Lincoln Premium Poultry Costco's vertically integrated chicken supplier in Nebraska and documented crowded bird conditions and antibiotic usage that, while technically staying within federal compliance, operated at the very edge of what those guidelines permit. Beyond sourcing, the nutritional reality is something nobody standing at the hot case near the exit is thinking about. Kirkland's rotisserie chicken contains 560 milligrams of sodium per 3-ounce serving. A realistic adult portion 8 to 12 ounces of meat delivers between 1,500 and 2,200 milligrams of sodium in a single sitting from one food source alone. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams total per day. This chicken alone nearly exhausts that entire daily limit before you've touched a side dish or anything else. Nobody at Costco is putting that information on a sign next to the hot case. They're positioning it right near the exit so you smell it before you've even finished shopping. That is not an accident. Not close. Now look, this isn't a channel that exists just to tear things apart. Because the honest truth is that Costco does get certain things genuinely, legitimately right. And when they get it right, it's often better than what you'd find anywhere else at twice the price. These next 5 products are the ones where Kirkland's buying power and supplier standards actually work in your favor. These are worth putting in the cart. Number 5. Kirkland Signature Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This one matters more than most people appreciate, because olive oil fraud in the United States is a genuinely widespread problem. A landmark investigation by the UC Davis Olive Center in 2010 tested 69 samples of imported extra virgin olive oil sold in California and found that 73% of those imported samples failed to meet international extra virgin standards, meaning they were rancid, cut with cheaper refined oils, or outright mislabeled. Brands specifically named in that study included Bertolli, Pompeian, and Carapelli names still on shelves today. Kirkland's extra virgin olive oil tells a different story. It sources primarily from Australian producers, largely through the Cobram Estate Cooperative, and Australia operates some of the most rigorous olive oil certification standards anywhere in the world. The Australian Olive Association uses gas chromatography testing to verify oleic acid content, polyphenol concentration, and peroxide values before any oil receives certification. Kirkland's Australian EVOO consistently tests within genuine extra virgin parameters: high polyphenol content, acidity below 0.8%, and a harvest-to-bottle timeline that protects freshness. The polyphenols in authentic extra virgin olive oil, particularly oleocanthal and oleuropein, have been linked in multiple peer-reviewed studies to reduced LDL oxidation, meaningful anti-inflammatory activity, and long-term cardiovascular protection. You are getting a verified, authentic product at a fraction of what a smaller bottle of comparable quality would cost at a specialty grocery store. That is what a good deal actually looks like. Number 4. Kirkland Signature Wild Alaskan Sockeye Salmon. Wild Alaskan salmon is one of those foods where sourcing either makes it one of the most nutritionally powerful things you can eat or reduces it to an overpriced disappointment. Kirkland's MSC-certified Wild Alaskan Sockeye salmon falls firmly in the first category. The Marine Stewardship Council certification means this product has been independently audited for sustainable harvest practices, verified chain of custody from ocean to package, and minimal bycatch standards that farmed salmon operations simply cannot replicate. And the nutritional difference between wild sockeye and farmed Atlantic salmon is significant and well documented. A 2005 study in the journal Science found that farmed salmon contained substantially higher concentrations of polychlorinated biphenyls, dioxins, and persistent organic pollutants compared to wild-caught varieties, with the contamination traced directly to the processed fish meal used in aquaculture feeding. Wild sockeye delivers approximately 1,100 milligrams of combined DHA and EPA omega, 3 fatty acids per 3-ounce serving, among the highest of any widely available fish. The American Heart Association recommends 2 weekly servings of fatty fish for cardiovascular protection, and Kirkland salmon delivers that at a price that makes it genuinely accessible. A 2021 Oceania investigation found that 1 in 5 seafood samples sold at American retailers was mislabeled for species. Kirkland has not appeared in mislabeling audits. That track record over time is worth recognizing. Number 3, Kirkland Signature Organic Quinoa. Quinoa gets dismissed as a trendy grain, but the nutritional case for it is genuinely solid when the product is sourced correctly. Kirkland's organic quinoa carries USDA certified organic status, which means no synthetic pesticides, no synthetic fertilizers, and third-party audited farming practices from seed to final packaging. The reason that certification matters specifically for quinoa is that conventional quinoa, much of it imported from Bolivia and Peru, has been found through USDA pesticide data program testing to carry residues of organophosphate pesticides, including chlorpyrifos. In 2021, the EPA formally moved to revoke tolerance for chlorpyrifos in food products, citing research linking it to neurodevelopmental harm in children and cardiovascular risk in adults. Kirkland's organic certification eliminates that exposure category entirely. On the nutritional side, quinoa is one of the very few plant-based foods classified as a complete protein, containing all 9 essential amino acids, with approximately 8 grams of protein per cooked cup and a glycemic index around 53. White rice carries a glycemic index of approximately 73. For older adults managing blood sugar, that 20-point difference in glycemic response is clinically meaningful over time. The price per pound on Kirkland's organic quinoa runs roughly 40 to 50% below what you'd pay at Whole Foods or Sprouts for a comparable certified product. The quality standard is identical. The markup is not. Number 2, Kirkland Signature Vitamin D3. This one is straightforward, but it matters more than most supplements on the Costco shelf. Vitamin D deficiency is one of the most prevalent nutritional deficiencies among American adults. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that approximately 42% of American adults are deficient, with rates climbing significantly higher in adults over 65. Chronic low vitamin D is directly associated with increased fracture risk, immune system dysfunction, depression, cardiovascular disease progression, and elevated all-cause mortality across multiple long-term studies. Kirkland's Vitamin D3 Supplement 2000 IU Soft Gels has been independently tested and verified by ConsumerLab.com, one of the most rigorous third-party supplement evaluation organizations in the country. Consumer Labs testing confirmed that Kirkland's D3 contains exactly what the label states, is free of contamination problems found in cheaper supplement brands, and dissolves properly for adequate absorption. The cost per daily serving comes out to approximately 1 cent. For comparison, Nature-made Vitamin D3, also Consumer Lab verified and genuinely a solid product, retails at 3 to 5 times the per serving cost for an equivalent certified formulation. When the quality verification is the same, and the price difference is that significant, there is no rational argument for paying more. This is exactly what a Costco warehouse membership is supposed to deliver. Verified quality at the lowest possible price per serving on a product a large percentage of the population genuinely needs. Number 1. Kirkland Signature Organic Chicken Stock. The number 1 Kirkland product worth buying is the organic chicken stock, and the case for it is stronger than people expect from what seems like a basic pantry item. Most commercial chicken stocks, even ones with premium packaging, are built primarily on water, salt, and flavoring agents, with minimal contribution from actual chicken. Swanson's, Pacific Foods, And even Imagine brand stocks have all faced documented criticism for sodium loading and reliance on yeast extract. And autolyzed yeast, effectively hidden forms of MSG, used to simulate depth of flavor that genuine, long-simmered stock would naturally produce. Kirkland's organic chicken stock is built differently. It uses USDA-certified organic chicken, organic vegetables, and sea salt, with no artificial flavors, no yeast extract, and no added MSG anywhere in the formulation. A food science evaluation panel published through Cooks Illustrated rated it among the highest scoring stocks for actual collagen content, the gelatin protein that comes from properly simmered bones and connective tissue, and gives stock both structural body and genuine nutritional value. A 2017 paper in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that collagen-rich stock contributes meaningful quantities of glycine and proline amino acids that directly support gut lining, integrity, and joint cartilage maintenance over time. You are getting a product that functions the way stock is actually supposed to function, sourced from certified organic birds, made without shortcuts or chemical flavor substitutes, and a price per ounce that is lower than nearly every comparable product at any other retailer. No tricks, no hidden ingredients, just a product that does exactly what the carton says it does. That is what honest value looks like, and it is exactly why this one earns the top spot on this list. Some companies still get it right. This is one of them.